They say she walks the quiet streets just after sundown, face hidden beneath a surgical mask, voice like a whisper through broken glass. She only asks one question, but no matter what you answer, you lose. When Marcus transferred to the university in Kyoto, he wasn't chasing ghosts, that he was chasing quiet, that he had spent most of his life in noise, the chaos of New York, the constant buzz of phones, sirens, arguments. He wanted out, and when the study abroad opportunity came, with housing included and an almost spiritual promise of peace, he took it. That no one told him what waited in the silence. The first few weeks were smooth, that he was learning the language quickly, enjoying the food, finding comfort in the soft, predictable rhythm of life in a smaller city, but something felt off. That it began with conversations in the dorm. Not normal ones, these were whispered warnings exchanged like contraband between students. Late night talks in hushed voices about someone, or something, that roamed near the edges of campus. A woman, long black hair, always alone, always watching. She stands under the streetlights but casts no shadow. One girl said, "My cousin's friends saw her and went missing," said another. "She only comes to people who walk alone," whispered a boy from Osaka, "and if she speaks to you, never answer." Marcus laughed it off. Urban legend. Cautionary tale. He was American. He had heard worse. Bloody Mary, the Candyman, Slender Man. All fear and no fact, until it became personal. One night in late autumn, Marcus stayed late at the computer lab. It was a Friday. The building was nearly empty. He was working on a project, headphones in, playing horror soundtracks just for the vibe. The irony wasn't lost on him. By the time he left, the streets were deserted. Fog hugged the ground in thin wisps. The trees along the narrow path near the river barely moved. No cars. No voices. Just cold. He walked faster than usual. His backpack felt heavier. His footsteps echoed more than normal. Then he saw her. At first, just a shape under the flickering lamplight at the end of the bridge. She wasn't walking, she was waiting. Long coat. Pale mask. Hair like threads of wet ink. Still, Marcus slowed. He considered crossing the street. But the path was narrow, and she wasn't moving. Maybe she needed help. As he passed, she stepped directly into his path. Then, she spoke. "Am I beautiful?" Her voice was glass splintering in his ears, polite. Soft. And impossibly wrong. His stomach turned. His skin tightened. He managed, trying to sound unfazed. "Yes. Sure. You're beautiful." She tilted her head, slowly, deliberately, then she reached up, and pulled down the mask. Her mouth was not a mouth. It was a wound, torn from cheek to cheek, ragged, wet, carved into a grin that never closed, lips gone. Flesh gaping. Eyes locked on his. "How about now?" Marcus couldn't speak. He couldn't run. He felt like the air had thickened into tar around him. She pulled something from her coat, scissors. Rusted, thick, blades jagged at the tips, the edges glinted under the lamp. "Then you should look just like me." He bolted. Instinct took over. His legs remembered how to move. He didn't know if she was chasing him. He didn't look back, but he could hear it, the snap of blades closing, the sound of something dragging across the pavement, right behind him. His lungs burned. His throat tasted metal. He turned corner after corner, heart hammering like a drum in his ears. When he reached the dorm entrance, he slammed the door shut, locked it 3 times, and collapsed onto the cold tile floor. He didn't sleep, not that night, not the next by Monday. Marcus looked like he'd aged 10 years, sunken eyes. Twitchy hands. Silence. His roommate, Daisuke, asked what happened. Marcus told him everything. The hallway. The question. The mouth. Daisuke turned pale. "You saw her," he said. "Yeah," Marcus whispered. "And she saw me." Daisuke explained the legend, the Slit-Mouthed Woman. KUCHISAKE-ONNA. A spirit. A curse. A living ghost. No one agrees on what she is, only that she exists. If you answer yes, she cuts your face to match hers. If you answer no, she kills you on the spot. Some believe she was a wife mutilated by a jealous husband. Others say she was a patient who died screaming after a failed surgery. One theory suggests she's older than language itself. a shape taken by malice. Marcus asked what he should have said. There's no right answer, Daisuke replied, but some say, if you confuse her, she disappears, say something vague. Or throw candy, but she always comes back. And she did. Marcus started seeing her everywhere, not directly. Not fully, but she was in reflections that eye and the window of the ramen shop across the street that eye and the dark screen of his laptop as it booted up that eye and the corner of his vision as he turned off the light. Then came the dreams that he would wake up at 3:11 a.m. every night, gasping. Drenched in sweat, sometimes with a pressure on his chest. Sometimes with the sound of blades snapping in his ears. Once, he woke up with scratches on his cheek. 2 red curves, perfectly symmetrical that he tried moving to a hotel, then to another city, but she followed. Once, in Osaka, he rode an elevator alone. The door opened on the 9th floor. No one there. As the door closed again, she appeared behind him in the mirrored wall that he screamed. The elevator froze between floors. It stayed there for 17 minutes. Out of desperation, Marcus found an old folklorist, a retired professor who had spent her life studying spirits. She lived in a cluttered home filled with ofuda, charms, and incense. After hearing his story, she gave him one thing, a mirror, and a sentence: you can't undo the curse. You can only pass it on. But beware, she chooses who deserves to be free. Marcus asked how. The woman said, you lead someone to her, you let her ask the question, and you do not interfere. He hesitated that he didn't want someone else to suffer, but the scratches on his skin were getting deeper, and he could no longer sleep. Weeks passed, then he found someone. A tourist. A skeptic. A loud YouTuber filming a debunking Japanese ghost stories vlog, the kind of person who laughed at the idea of ghosts. Who challenged demons in abandoned shrines. Perfect. Marcus waited until he was alone, then approached him just after sunset. That he told him about the legend, dared him to walk a certain path, said it would be good for views. There's a woman in a mask. She'll ask you something. Just don't run. The man grinned. Sounds fake, he said. That was the last time anyone saw him. Marcus disappeared soon after. Some say he moved to Europe, others say he died in his sleep, his mouth sliced ear to ear. But if you believe the oldest version of the story, passing the curse doesn't end it only delays her. And now, you've heard her story, you might think you're safe. After all, you didn't see her, but you listened, and now, she knows your voice. So next time you walk home alone, and a woman in a beige coat steps into your path, if she stops, if she lifts her mask, if she whispers, am I beautiful? Whatever you do, never answer, never run, and never talk to her, because once you do, you're already hers.